So let's dive into this, how to radically increase your client retention using the financial coaching model and specifically our framework called the money narrative clearing methodology. So one of the things I love to do is that, and I find there's a big gap in the market around this, is that financial coaching itself, there's a very specific integration for financial professionals, whether that's accountancy or financial advice or mortgage advice, because coaching on its own is really about, it's a very different relationship with a client, but you guys want to, look to how to explore that, how to integrate that. So I'm going to share with you a whole integration process and how we have done this when I was working in the regulated role too. So you guys will enjoy that. So this workshop today is for you if you really want to look at how your clients can make better financial decisions using our methodology. This is the methodology that we teach our students in our programs, and I will share with you at the end if you are curious to know how to take this to the next step. I will share with you at the end details about our financial coach tools program. And so I'm going to share with you a little bit around the methodology so that even if you just come to this workshop today, you can start to use this with your clients. I'm also going to share a little bit about monetization and integration of coaching, because some people come to these presentations because they actually are quite curious to setting up a side business or a standalone financial coaching business. So I want to be able to share that with you guys too. And then we're going to talk about what is financial coaching and how you can use it to really create huge impacts and more meaningful conversations. So let me know in the chat if you're excited to learn these things. Which one are you most excited about? Mom, 1, 2, or 3? Give me a number in the chat. 1, 2, or 3. Number 2, yeah, monetization and integration. Yeah, that's the big one. Anything else? 1, 2, or 3? Oh, look, great mix there. Eleanor is number 3. Yeah, perfect. There might be several in there. Yeah, amazing. Now, what I'm going to share with you when we talk about this methodology, Rachel Hall here is an amazing example. Please go check her out. She's incredible. She's won many, many awards for the work that she's been doing. And she actually, when she came through our full certification program, and after a year, she actually ended up leaving the network that she was with, and she set up under a DA basis, directly authorized. And she, through the methodologies that we taught her, she introduced these financial well-being scales and coaching into her offerings. And literally, she's gone from strength to strength. She became oversubscribed very quickly with a wait list. Great place to be. But more importantly, with the right type of clients. And she's now actually about to make more big shifts in her company, let's say. She went from a team of like 2 or 3 to a team of like 12. So, what I'm going to be sharing you today hasn't just worked for me personally. This has worked for lots of people. And so my goal is to really help you to create those radical changes, and radical changes to how our client feels about money, and maybe yours at the same time. So I'm curious, who's done any work around their own relationship with money? Who has done any work around this? Maybe if you're watching this live, let me know in the chat. Have you done any work yourself? Have you read any books? Have you done any money mindset work? Have you perhaps worked with a coach? And what did you discover about yourself? And if you haven't done any work, if I was to ask a question around, what's the relationship that you have with money? How do you behave with money? Is it something that you give it a lot of attention to? I mean, I always find as financial professionals, we're so busy sorting out everybody else's finances that we actually don't do it ourselves. And some of you may have taken our money story types quiz in preparation for this workshop. Again, you don't have to have done that. And these images that you can see behind me, these are the money story types that we created off the back of working with financial professionals and consumers, because we all have our own unique relationship with money. And actually what I've learned is that a lot of financial professionals are not great with money. Like, no shame, I wasn't great with money. I'm going to share a little bit about my story with you in a moment. I wasn't great with money. And it puts a lot of pressure on ourselves, doesn't it? Like maybe you've had some overspending tendencies or oversaving tendencies, maybe passing responsibility on to partners to look after money. And I'm going to tell you a little bit today as well about why is it that we do that. So Caroline's saying she's the impulsive money story type. Yeah, that was built off the back of my relationship with money, Caroline. And when we're impulsive or spontaneous, we're really seeking a lot of dopamine. And so a chemical response is going on in the brain where we just want to seek dopamine so that we feel good about ourselves. And sometimes that can be sabotaging when we overspend. So super interesting, right? Super interesting. So Sam's saying attended some work a few years ago, but never implemented the changes. Yeah, we find that, Sam, with our architect story type. If you've done the quiz, architects are very good at planning, learning, not so great at implementation. So there might be some resonance there for you, Sam. Yeah, Rebecca's done some of our programs. Yeah, it's really interesting to see how far it goes back. It actually goes back 7 generations. There's lots of research to show that your relationship with money goes back 7 generations. I mean, my goodness, can you imagine the impact of our ancestors and grandparents? Grandparents who grew up through the war. Everything was about rationing and holding on and hoarding. And we see this with clients, don't we? Who's got clients in their 60s and 70s who would have been heavily influenced by parents growing up post-war or during the war? And that has a huge impact on how they've behaved with money. And that's what their relationship is formed around. So super interesting, right? And so therefore, at the end of today's little workshop, I'm going to share with you this method. I want you to think about how you can use it with your clients, but maybe even for yourself too. So if you're here today, there's a really good chance that you are curious to delve deeper into having more purposeful client conversations. Give me a 1 in the chat if that's you. Or maybe you're here to aspire to provide more of a holistic support beyond the traditional financial advice model or beyond the traditional accountancy model. Give me a 2 in the chat if that's you. Or 3, you're eager to distinguish your service offering from competitors. Maybe you're trying to really create a unique service proposition. And then number 4, maybe you're just really genuinely intrigued by the concept of coaching and the benefits that it can bring to you and to your clients. But here is the problem, people. Our clients' decision-making is not solely based on logic. And how interesting that most of our qualifications are logic-based. Very much about solving problems, piecing together advice, putting together cash flow forecasting reports, helping them do their tax returns. It's all logic, isn't it? And our clients' lack of financial education, let's face it, is pretty shocking for most of us, if not all of us. And we are in a world right now where financial well-being is at the focus of a lot of what we're doing. And our personal relationship with money can have a big impact on our clients' relationship with money. We can mirror our relationship with money, potentially actually inadvertently influencing how they make decisions. An interesting one to think about there. How does your relationship with money potentially, inadvertently directly affect the client's relationship with money? Or maybe you're just attracting the wrong type of clients. Maybe you're wanting to get rid of those energy draining clients. Let's face it, we all have them. And really step into focusing on building the right clientele that really value you and your service. Because I know that for a lot of you, what you really want is, let's be honest, an easy life. We want more time with our family. We want more holidays. We want more freedom. We want to attract those more profitable clients to enable us to have that freedom. And we also want to explore the deeper side of money with a framework that is specific for the financial services industry. So that's mortgage advice, power planning, accountancy, bookkeeping, all of those things. And that's what I'm really excited to share with you today. So let's talk about how your clients really make decisions, how to monetize and integrate coaching, and how coaching can take your skills to the next level. Tiny bit about me, guys. If you haven't come across my work before, I'd be really interested to let me know in the chat. How did you hear about this workshop today? Did you see it on LinkedIn? Were you recommended it from somebody? Perhaps you listened to our podcast. It's not about the money. Let me know in the chat. I'd be super interested to know. And I do a lot of work in the financial services industry. I do a lot of speaking work. I'm actually speaking at the, in fact, maybe I can't announce that yet. I'm speaking at a major conference, let's just say later this year. And the reason I do this is because I was a financial advisor since the age of 18. I worked as an advisor and a sales manager for 20 years. And I was very disillusioned. Something didn't feel right. And I didn't really know what it was until I discovered financial planning and financial coaching. And I decided to start sharing my story about how I was an emotional spender, lived in recurring debt shame cycles for like 10 years, didn't have a good relationship with money, yet I knew everything about how to manage money, how to invest money, how to do my tax planning, was not doing any of it myself. So you can imagine the shame of being a financial advisor and not being good with money. And it really opened me up to learn as much as I could about how our relationship with money is formed. I also do a lot of work in the consumer space, especially I went to visit Richard Branson last year because we have a huge impact project personally and in our business to help 1 million people to become financially resilient. And I'm also a qualified financial abuse specialist, and we have some impact project work around that specifically, hence why I was with Richard last year with a wonderful group of other entrepreneurs. So I understand where you are. I've been in your shoes. I was an advisor for 20 years, then became a financial planner, and then became a financial coach. And these two little boys in this picture here are G&T, not a refreshing drink. They could probably easily have one of those right now. But these are my two little boys, George and Thomas. And when my youngest Thomas was born, we almost lost him twice. And what happened for me during that time was that at 5 weeks old, Thomas was actually rushed into hospital with a diagnosed bacterial meningitis, which is the worst form of meningitis. And we were incredibly lucky that he survived. He's a very happy 9-year-old boy, very cheeky. But it was really during that period when I was going through looking after a very ill child that I realized that my relationship with money was driven by fear. My relationship with money was driven by a feeling of not feeling good enough. And when I was in hospital with him, the doctors were using loads of jargon with me, like they were saying sepsis. And I was like, what the hell is sepsis? And I remember going back to work a year later thinking, how many people feel like this with money? How many people don't understand the jargon that we use in financial services? And I remember sitting at my desk. I worked in Leighton Buzzard and I was looking after a sort of retired client bank. And I remember sitting there and it was like this light bulb moment of realizing that my relationship with money was really a mirror reflection of the relationship I had with myself. And I want you to think about that for yourself. How is the relationship that you have with money a mirror reflection of how you feel about yourself? You know, money is very wrapped up in our identity, how we feel about ourselves. If we don't feel good enough about ourselves, we'll never feel good enough to receive or to hold on to money. So maybe you undercharge in your business. How many of you found that? Or you feel icky to have those conversations and you know maybe you're not charging enough. And I know how much work is involved in your work, how much time. Or maybe you receive money quite easily, quite proudly, but you can't keep hold of it. So maybe you're in overspending cycles. Or maybe you're a heavy saver and you find it difficult to take risks. It's really interesting, isn't it? And therefore, you know, my situation in my 20s was debt was comfortable for me, which is so weird, right? How is debt comfortable? It was comfortable because it was familiar. And this is what happens with your clients. They get stuck in these familiarity cycles. And so when we have conversations with what's going on in the world, what's happening in the stock market, what's happening with inflation right now, you know, they're driven by the emotion, by the feeling. And it's the feeling that creates the behavior, not the other way around. And what I discovered is that clients massively self-sabotage. They don't even follow your advice. Maybe you've built them a cash flow forecast. You've done their accounts. You've helped them with how to make more profit in their business, but they don't follow the plan. They don't stick to it. You tell them to go and spend money. You've got loads of money. I've forecasted it out. You've got enough money to the rest, you know, to last you for the rest of your life, and they still don't do it. Or they make really poor decisions that just aren't logical. They don't make sense. Or they procrastinate. Maybe you have found that for yourself too. Who here has clients like this? Let me know in the chat. How many of you can resonate with some of these behaviors, either for yourself or for clients? Yeah, Danielle, 100%. Yeah. Nathan, we of a similar age were brought up to spend and then borrow to spend more. Yeah. Society expectations are huge. Older clients were taught to save. Yeah, and that creates a scarcity mindset and not enoughness mindset. We have to keep saving, can't spend. There's never going to be enough. We're going to run out. And yeah, our generation, very, very different because of, you know, social media influences is a big one there. Yeah, thanks for bringing that one up, Nathan. Danielle, I definitely relate to being an oversaver. Fear the money will be fleeting. Yeah. Like, will it come back in? And that's a mindset, again, of scarcity. It's like, where, you know, the money is limited. Money doesn't grow on trees. How many of you heard that growing up around money? You have to work hard to make money. And then we end up working 70 hours a week and being completely burnt out. And this is what's happening. You know, at a surface level, our relationship with money is actually formed from what's below the surface, what we can't see. That might be personal experiences, cultural, religious influences, societal influences, generational influences. When I was growing up, my belief was that men could make money, but not women. Because my dad was an entrepreneur, my mum just had enough to get by. And money was used as a bit of a manipulator. It was like my parents went through a really messy divorce, and money was used as a tool to manipulate people. So of course I didn't want to have money because I didn't want to be considered to be mean and greedy and manipulating. Super interesting, right? How many of you walked along the street as a kid and saw some money on the floor and you went to pick it up and your parents went, oh, don't touch that, it's dirty. Money is dirty. Or the films that we watched growing up, you know, rich people are greedy, that women may have to be rescued by the prince, you know, and it can cause clashes if women are earning more than men. And for guys, you know, for men, it was like, if you're not getting the next pay rise, you know, if you don't have status, then you have no value in society. You know, that's British culture. British culture, if you didn't have land or title, in our generational beliefs, we had no value in society. And that creates this constant need for more things, more stuff. Super interesting, isn't it? Danielle said, yeah, was always taught having money was good. Wanting money was bad. Oh yeah, good one. Well, you can't desire something. Look after everybody else, but you come last. Yeah, and this creates this, what we call our enabler story type, where we end up giving away our energy and our time to look after everybody else's needs before our own needs. Yeah. Nathan, 9% of my clients struggle to break savings habits. Yeah. Especially if they're of that generation. Super interesting, right? When you open up these conversations with clients, it's so much fun. So interesting. So interesting. What about these scenarios? How many of your clients have you ever supported that have been through what we call sudden loss or sudden gain? They've had an inheritance. They've gone through a divorce. They've had a change in their health. They've been made redundant, sudden loss. Maybe their parents have been bankrupt in the past. Maybe they've won some lottery and spent it as quickly as it came in. Maybe they've had fear around, I've got to make the perfect decision because this money was never mine. It was given to me. I've inherited it. You know, there's this feeling of responsibility. Responsibility is a big one that comes up around inheritance work. How many of you have had clients like this? It's big, isn't it? Big experiences of money being taken away and money being received very suddenly, very quickly. And why is money so emotional? Why is it so emotional? It's literally a physical thing. If I had money in a piggy bank like this, money has no emotion to it. It's a coin, it's metal, but it's the meaning that we give to money that makes it emotional. Fear of loss, fear of losing it, fear of spending it all, shame over, I'm in my 50s and I don't have a pension. I've left it too late. I'm behind everybody else. Or, I've made terrible decisions in the past. I'm terrible with money. And we create these I am statements. And this is our financial comfort zone, guys. It's a comfort zone that we've played in. It's like a football pitch we've played on for our entire lives. Because what we really are seeking is safety and security. Those are the two biggest feelings that we want to have with money. But how interesting that we rely on money to give us that feeling. What else creates safety and security apart from money? Who's got any ideas? What else would provide you with that feeling of safety and security that's not just money? Yeah, family, love. Yeah, what else? Open honesty. Yeah, so your own behavior. Yeah, connection. Trust. Yeah, love that one, Eleanor. These are all available to us right now. We don't need more money to create safety and security. And I'm not talking about people who are in a place of instability where they can't put a roof over their head, they can't feed themselves. Clearly, we have some psychological and physical needs that need to be met, of which money may be required to meet some of those elements. But anything beyond that is already available to us, yet we place so much of our, we give so much of our power away to money. We compare ourselves to everybody else. We're always wanting enough. Really, this is about helping clients to feel good enough about themselves, because by understanding their relationship with money, they can better understand their relationship with themselves, so that they're no longer operating from a place of fear. That's the power of financial coaching. We want our clients to think differently. We want them to feel differently. We want them to behave differently.
And financial coaching supports all three of those areas. What most of us do in our current profession is we focus on the behavior, because that's what we're taught to do. That's what we're qualified to do. And that's not a bad thing. But when we start with behavior changes instead of starting with the emotions that sit behind that behavior, it can stop us from actually taking the right steps or making better decisions.
Hopefully you guys could hear the sound okay on that video. And it's interesting, isn't it, to think about how very much of what we tend to focus on is very left brain dominant. What I mean by that is we focus on budget planners, cash flow forecasts, things that are very systemized, planning, very linear. It's very left brain, very logical. When actually a lot of what's going on for our clients is very right brain dominant. It's how they feel, it's exploring the emotions, what they want for their future, the possibilities that they want to create with money, which is very right brain dominant. But yet all of our advice, qualifications sit very much on the left-hand side. So really financial coaching is about bringing in the right side of the brain. It's about bringing in that creativity. And when you bring the two together, oh, magic happens. And this really weaves into how clients make decisions around money. You know, our clients' behaviors are driven by their thoughts. And the thoughts that they have around money drive the emotions. So the thoughts they might have around money, like rich people are greedy, you have to work hard to make money. More money, more problems. Who had that one growing up? Maybe you could add some to that list. And this creates a feeling of fear, shame, guilt, greed, regrets, all sorts of emotions at play here. And this drives the behaviors: overspending, hoarding or oversaving, not taking risks, panicking when the stock market is crashing, panicking when they've got to submit their tax return information.
The way that we feel about money is really a reflection of the way we feel about ourselves. And the reason that this happens is because by the age of 6, we have all attached a meaning to money. What meaning are you giving to money? Now, for me growing up, the meaning that I gave to money was that money has to be kept secret, money's never talked about, and that only men can bring money into the household. My dad had all the wealth and my mum had very little. And so her relationship with money was very different, very much about hoarding, protecting, whereas my dad was very much about, you know, almost like money was limitless. And so I grew up with this kind of complete paradox of what does money actually mean to me? And it's the same for our clients, is all the things that they observe about money up until that age creates what we call borrowed beliefs. It creates this almost like gigantic sack of beliefs that we carry over our shoulder that then go on to impact on how we behave around money.
Some of you may have seen that analogy in my book, which is called It's Not About the Money. You know, imagine we like Father Christmas with this gigantic sack of beliefs over our shoulder. Nathan's just asked here about, do I use this kind of imagery with clients? You can do, Nathan. Yes, I find sometimes with clients, there's different ways of doing this. We actually teach this in our program, but it could be, for example, you have this on websites, you might have this on illustrations, you might even have this as an image in your office. That would be a good one, wouldn't it? Or you could use this, you know, create like a video that you would send to them in advance of meetings, for example, that explains, you know, how their relationship with money is actually formed. One of the questions I also get asked a lot is, you know, what kind of results can you expect for you? Let's start with you guys first. What kind of results could you expect if you would start to think about integrating financial coaching into your businesses? And then I'm going to share with you the methodology to get your client results. This is Kristen.
So, first of all, honestly, and I'm not just saying this, it's completely changed my life doing this coaching. And I don't mean just financially. I mean, like me as an individual. I can't I can't really express how or why. And it's funny because I work with a business coach who I've known for years. And she even mentioned to me yesterday, like, how completely different I am as a person. And I think, so I've got to say thank you, because I think if I hadn't have done it, I wouldn't have made those changes. Like, I'm completely sober now. I don't drink at all, which is something I really wanted to nail, but always kind of got tied up in this peer pressure, which now I just feel so comfortable in my skin that I think I'm okay to be like, I don't do that. You know, and I just don't think I would have tied the two together until I was really thinking about it yesterday. And I'm sure that that's what it is. And just things like not doing things in my business that I do for free, because I'm like, no, that's my time and it's really valuable. Yeah, it's completely changed my life. So thank you for that.
This makes me smile every time I watch this. The reason I wanted to share this with you is that what Kristen said there about this has gone on to create tidal wave changes in her life by, you know, sharpening her skills as a financial advisor to the point where she's changing, you know, huge behaviors, you know, with drinking, for example. So, you know, it's really, really powerful work. And we've had other people like Catherine Thomas Humphreys here, for example. She won Financial Coach of the Year last year. We've had Jessame Walker at the bottom here, who was really using this as a way to re-engage clients that maybe weren't coming in. Like, how many of you have got clients where you've got a Mr. and a Mrs. maybe, and you never see one of them? She used coaching as a way to re-engage her existing clients. We've had paraplanners come through this kind of experience, this work, and really looked at their own relationship with money and how they were undercharging. Hopefully that's not your paraplanner. We've had Victoria in top right hand corner there. She's an accountant and she's gone on to write her own book, and she's got this amazing financial wing woman service that she provides. You know, so Peter here, for example, you know, integrating it into his practice. Just some incredible examples here of the power of financial coaching is really a great opportunity. So let me share with you the money narrative clearing methodology that we use. Okay. Now, in the essence of time, I'm going to share the framework with you, and then very open to answer some questions around this too. So using this methodology is going to really help you to focus on thinking about how your client feels, enabling them to unlock their emotions so that if they feel better, they can do better with money. So this is the methodology that we teach. And there are 6 steps to this methodology. And it's not linear. So although I've laid this out in 6 steps, it's not linear, because the great thing about financial coaching is it's very much about learning how to implement the skills of a coach through listening, through awareness, through body language, lots of those things, and particularly listening to the language that your client is using. I want you to write this down. The way to bring this first step in around awareness is to really get curious to the specific words and language that your client is using with money. So if you only take one thing away from this framework today, I want you to, in your next conversation that you have later today, I want you to really turn on your intuitive listening, where rather than waiting for someone to finish talking so we can say our thing, we really want to step into this intuitive listening so that you can listen to what they're saying about money. And if you hear them using words like only or just, then that's limiting language, and it almost unlocks a little curiosity door into why are they choosing to use that limiting language. You know, I only want to make 3% returns because any more than that's too risky, or I just want to do this. You know, there's language that they use that can be very limiting. The word but as well is very limiting. What comes after the but? What comes beyond the but can give you a window of opportunity to bring this awareness piece into their relationship with money. Because this is the first step. It's about bringing curiosity to the beliefs that they carry around money. And what we do is we take those beliefs and we look at both sides of the coin in step 2 and 3. So imagine you've got a coin. Step 2 is exploring the benefits. How does this relationship with money support you? Well, being a saver, it means that I've always got money in the bank. I always feel safe. Well, what are the challenges of being an oversaver? Well, I can't spend. I can't book the holidays that I really want to do. I'm always living in fear that I'm going to run out of money. And once we can understand some of those benefits and challenges, we can then move them towards considering a place of, well, how can we flip some of those challenges into serving you to have a better future? So we get them to go into possibility thinking in step 4, getting them to start to think differently. How do we do that? By exploring their relationship with money. What are those stories that they've heard growing up around money? What did they hear from parents? What influenced their relationship with money the most? And when we can get them to start thinking differently, then we can get them to behave differently. And you guys are working with these clients, right, over a long period of time, often many years. Can you imagine the impacts if they would start to shift the behaviors that are not serving them, that would have on every single future generation? Just amazing. And then we can get to explore their future in a different way. Maybe get them to take more risks, maybe get them to spend some of their money, maybe get them to save more money or use money in a more positive way for impact projects or philanthropic projects that they want to invest in. And the final step of the method is future meaning, discovering purpose. So we do an exercise in our training program where we look at how do you align a client's values with money. And we go through a whole exercise of how to uncover a client's values. Values are like the North Star. It's what guides us. It's how we make decisions every single day. And are their values aligned with how they feel about money, with how they're spending money, with how they're saving money, how they're setting financial goals, perhaps? And it's through each of those 6 stages, so awareness, benefits and challenges, understanding where the possibility sits, exploring their future through a different lens, and future meaning, that changes everything. Changes everything. And often when we teach this methodology, we start to think, well, this could work so well in a one-to-one scenario, but it could also work really well in a group environment. So how many of you are curious to work with groups, maybe create some online digital passive income maybe, or maybe run workshops for your clients? Yeah. So this is how our business evolved and is still evolving. Is we work with clients both in one-to-ones and groups. We also run retreats. We do lots of many things, VIP days with clients, lots of different ways of supporting them. And this is what I love about financial coaching, is that you can integrate it into your existing business. And I'm going to share that with you in a second. Or this could be an opportunity for you to start thinking about using financial coaching as a way for you to scale your impact and your own personal revenue. You know, a lot of advisors have, personal things they want to do to go and help kids in schools, you know, or launch their own podcast, or write a book about money, or help people in their community. And so if you can generate revenue to free up your time, then you can do so much in the non-for-profit space, in the giving back to your communities. So from a one-to-one perspective, you could offer an annual review, like a one-off session. You could do a package of sessions. Often our coaches will do like 6 coaching sessions with a client. Or they'll build a retainer. Maybe they do 6 initial sessions and then they check in with the client once a quarter. That works really well for accountants, particularly. Or maybe you have got some big personal goals to go bigger with this work. And this is where you can look at the one-to-many revenue model, you know, which is really unlimited, it's uncapped in terms of revenue potential. You know, we regularly make between 30 and 50,000 a month through our group programs. And this is what enables me to go and work with Richard Branson and work on reducing financial abuse in the world, because I have a team now and we have the revenue to support us to be able to go and do those projects. Who gets really excited looking at this potential of impact and income? It's super exciting, right? Yeah, Caroline's saying looking to integrate the concepts into a course. Yes, self-care and positivity. Yeah, amazing, Caroline. And so let's talk about integration, shall we? How does this integrate? So if you're sitting here as a financial professional, accountant, advisor, how do you integrate this so that you can set your business apart, enhance your client experience, and really demonstrate what's very big at the moment in the FCA is consumer duty. So for those of you who are familiar, and I've just taken specifically here the financial planning framework, because the financial planning framework is a really good one to look at, you know, the steps that we go through with clients in terms of establishing that relationship, you know, going into fact finding, understanding your client's information, analyzing that information, developing your recommendations, implementing those, and then your ongoing reviews. Now, this will be very similar from an accountancy profession too, because, you know, you're going through those distinct stages. And so what we teach in our program is how you introduce the money narrative clearing method, the process, right at the start. And you can do that in many different ways, all of which we will share with you. And they complete that 6-step process, if you like, during the fact find, the data gathering scenario. So it doesn't have to be done as a standalone session. It's very much interwoven into those conversations. Some advisors do separate conversations before they do fact finding. That's also something that can work really, really well. And really the whole process aligns and integrates exactly into your recommendations. And there's some really interesting examples actually in our community of where people have got like sections in their suitability reports where they talk about the client's relationship with money. And we're actually in the process of being able to allow advisors to white label our quiz as well, so that they can also add that into their recommendation reports. And it's a great way of revisiting conversations around money during those ongoing review meetings. You know, many times we're trying to add as much value as we can to support the client in the fees that they're paying. And this is a great way of demonstrating added value. And probably out of everything, that's the biggest one. And you could actually then potentially spend more time on their relationship with money during those ongoing reviews, because, you know, often clients come in because they've got a problem, or they've got some money to invest, or they want to consolidate pensions, or they want to get their tax returns done. And so ongoing reviews is a great way to bring in the power and the impact of financial coaching. So as you can see, it really sits beautifully over that framework. It might be that you use it to attract new clients, opening up conversations to clients who wouldn't ordinarily reach out to you. Vouch for example, which is a platform that some of you might be using, have just opened up financial coaching as an area that you can tick to say that you've done a financial coaching qualification. That might be with us, for example, with the money panel. And we find a lot of our graduates get a lot of leads through Vouched For, and it's really helping them to stand out. You might want to set yourself up as a standalone coach, and we do have a marketing program that teaches you how to do all of that. You might just want to integrate it into your annual reviews, your cash flow planning meetings, some conversations about intergenerational wealth, maybe for children of your clients, or maybe just getting your advice to stick. Can you see there's so many opportunities for financial coaching to just weave so beautifully across all of these areas? What's coming up for people here out of interest? Let me know in the chat. Like, what are you like, ooh, didn't know it could work in that way. Or yeah, this is the kind of ways that I can see myself supporting clients with financial coaching. Let me know in the chat, and I'll come back to any questions as well in a few minutes. So, you know, this was me. I was in that situation. I wanted to stand out. I wanted to focus more on the emotional side of money. As you can see, I went and immersed myself in qualifications around this topic because I wanted to focus on the human side of money. I wanted to create more impact. I wanted to create real transformation. I wanted to increase my income, and I wanted to find that missing piece of the puzzle for clients to have a better relationship with money. And how many of you want this too? How many of you are looking at this list thinking, yeah, I want more impact. I want more meaning in my work. I want to create bigger transformations. Give me a yes in the chat if this resonates with you. Maybe you want to make more money in your business so you can go on to have more impact. Yeah. And so how many of you feel like you're curious to learn more, ready to start making some changes? Let me just share with you, for those of you who are interested in taking this further, and then we'll open up for some Q&A. I'll just share some information here about our award-winning coaching tools program. Now, we have 2 levels to our financial coaching tools program. This one I'm sharing with you here is the framework. So this is our money financial coaching tools program. This is our foundation level program. Now, what that looks like is that you would have instant access to self-paced videos. They're all on an app, so you can literally learn on the go. And you get lifetime access to these videos and the accompanying workbooks for you to go and use in your current roles. We will teach you through this program our proven money narrative clearing framework. And we are also in the process, just next week actually, of recording some updated training with examples from other financial professionals as to how exactly they're testing and trialing this with different integration methods, so that we've got that being updated next week as well. And every time we update the program, you guys always get access to that. We'll also give you access to tools to embed this work into your existing business, and obviously bring you into the community. So we have over 150 coaches now who have been through one or many of our programs. So they're there for you to build some connections and to network and support one another too. And this program is perfect for you if you're ready to really understand the root of your clients' behaviors and your own, to learn this 6-step money narrative clearing methodology, to maybe, to just focus more on the behavioral side and less on the practical solutions, and to have really those deeper, more meaningful conversations. Now, the investment for this program is 1497 plus VAT. And we also offer a payment plan where you can split those payments over 3 installments. And I'm going to tell you about a couple of extra bonuses that we're also gifting to you if you decided to come and join us now on the program. And if you are interested and you have any questions around this, like, is this right for me? Maybe you've got some specific questions for you in where you're at right now. This link here is the one that you need to to write down. And I've opened up some spaces in my calendar next week to have some 15-minute application calls with you if you are interested in joining us. There is about 7 slots next week in the calendar before I dash off to Italy next week. So they are on a first come, first serve basis. And the link you need to go to is themoneypanel.co.uk/call. Now, the bonuses that we also gift you, the first one is a compliance masterclass with a white labeled client agreement. This is very specific for you if you are in the regulated space right now. And Karen Mallin is an independent compliance expert. She's amazing. So that's super useful. Perhaps you're working with a network and you're not sure how that would work from a compliance perspective. This masterclass covers everything that you need to know with a client agreement. You can literally send into your compliance department. We also give you a productivity planner because we know that actually for a lot of advisors, planning and organization of their own time can be quite challenging sometimes. So we actually created this for our mastermind, and it was so good that we just decided to give it to everybody, which may help you in the organization of your own business too. We also gift you a money mindset audio track, because again, this is going to shift a lot for yourself with your own relationship with money. And this is the money mindset track that you can listen to every day if you feel inclined to really start to shift some of those feelings around your own relationship with money. So we gift you those bonuses completely for free. And just as a reminder here, this is the link that you'll need to join to book a call with me. If you can't find a call time that fits, then feel free to hang around now for Q&A, or alternatively, you can drop us an email and we'll see if we can accommodate any other times for you. You can email my team at hello@themoneypanel.co.uk. I'll just pop that in the chat for everybody if you do have any specific questions. And just to finish this piece off, I know often we get lots of questions around this. So just to cover some of these common questions that come up. Is this suitable for international students? I don't know if we have anyone internationally here today, but yes, we have students from all around the world. The time commitment, because it's a self-paced learning program, the total time is around 8.5 hours, total watch time. The program is CPD accredited by the CISI as well. So if you are with the CISI, or you don't have to be with the CISI, but this is structured CPD, and we'll gift you a CPD certificate as well that you can use against your CPD accreditation at the time that you have for your CPD. Is this program just for women? No, we have a 50-50 split between men and women in our community. The reason this comes up a lot is because my personal consumer brand is only for women. Our programs are exclusively for women in business, but this program is not. So everyone is welcome. It's not just for financial advisors either. We have mortgage advisors, power planners, accountants, bookkeepers, coaches coming through this program. I've covered the how long will it take me already. And the other question is, will I become a certified financial coach? So there's no official qualification for a certified financial coach because it's not regulated, and we wouldn't want it to be, let's face it. If you decide once you've done this foundation program that you want to go on to full certification, we have an upgrade package where you can upgrade and come into a live role play environment online, and over a period of a few months you would come to those live sessions. You would be observed. We would in a role play environment. It's really great fun, and at the end of that you would then get the designation letter certified financial coach, and we can talk about that on the application call if you're curious about coming straight into the certification, or you can just upgrade further down the line. We do also gift you a full marketing program for the upgrade as well. So if you are curious to go and expand into financial coaching, we teach you all of the marketing tools around building courses, launching things online, social media, those kind of things. So we can talk about that on your application calls if that feels good for you.
Hi everyone, this is Gretchen at Magenta. I'm just, I guess, videoing a little snapshot for Catherine to say how much I've enjoyed the financial coaching course that I've been doing with her. I was a part of the first cohort, and as well as meeting some really great people, I have also learned so much about how to engage better with clients in my first meetings and ongoing relationships. And it really has made me think about the way that I use my question skills and my listening skills even more. And it's really hard stuff, some of this. So having a great coach like Catherine to put us through those things step by step, teach us techniques to think about, great questions to have in our bank has just been invaluable to me. And I've also taken on the continuation course, which I think I'm about halfway through. That's been really, really great to be able to practice with other people who've been through the initial financial coaching course. And we meet every couple of weeks and have a session together to act out, coach, client, and observer. And this has just been brilliant to, I guess, boost my confidence about it, but also try and really think about how I can embed this in my everyday client experience within the business. So I just want to say a great thank you to Catherine, because it's been brilliant. I hope that I'll continue to learn and that I've been a good student for you. And please just sign up if any of you are thinking about it. This is a brilliant course to do.
I love when Gretchen's like, I hope I've been a good student. The wonderful Gretchen. And just to finish on this final one, some of you might be thinking, well, you know, what's possible with this work outside of the realm of just financial advice or accountancy? And Laura is just such a great example here of, you know, she's gone on to have a big impact, actually, particularly in the generational space of 20s to 30s. She's built a really great social media following, doing lots of influencer work. And I just love how she talks about here that no two coaches are the same, you know, that you'll learn through this program more about yourself and how you can use those skills to really go on to create those tidal waves of change that we know we all need in the financial services space. So thank you so much for your time.